Welcome. In this video, as you can see, we're going to go through exam preparation for an audio comprehension task. This is the second video in this series, and I am going to give you a clear strategy. So the objective of today, as I said, is to give you a clear strategy for improving your understanding of audio recordings. So let's begin. Our strategy has four specific components. Number one, we're going to talk about the elements of the audio. Number two, we are going to talk about the tools or the skills of anticipating and adapting. And number three, we're going to learn to approximate. It is very important that we understand that comprehension is 50% of our communication skills. Audio comprehension is one of the tasks that affect the most overall scores. And all aviation exams must include audio comprehension tasks nowadays. And finally, this skill requires a lot of training. So put in the work. We have the following rules for improving our overall comprehension. Number one is to have great shorthand notes. How can I show great comprehension skills if I didn't retain any of the information, right? And by memory, we're not going to retain all of it, so we should have excellent notes. Number two, it is very important that we prioritize our information. We have some information that is more important than other information. It is more important to know that they're taxing than to know that they're taxing at 30 knots, for example, unless it is important for the narrative, okay? And number three, please remember there will be distractions, okay? It is distracting to focus on the call sign. It is distracting to focus on the wind conditions instead of the fact that they were asked to go around, for example. So these distractions, we need to not eliminate them, but prioritize them. So now let's talk about the elements of the audio. We have four specific elements. The first one is the context. And it is very important that we know that we are outside of context. We are not within context. We're not inside of the flight deck that is transmitting. That means that the cognitive workload at the beginning of the audio is going to be focused on what the context is. Not the call sign, not the details, but the context. Okay? Number two, there will be a problem. Let's say this problem does not have to be a mayday. It doesn't have to be a pan, but there will be an obstacle for the operation. And then there will be a solution. It could be pilot intentions. It could be ATC instructions, but it could also be a maintenance decision or a ground handling decision as well, a ground handling action, let's say. And then we will have details. And those details are about all of the other elements, meaning that as soon as I know I'm in cruise, then I can focus on the fact that this is the call sign is expert 335 cruising at flight level 380, for example. As soon as I know the problem, okay, they had an engine failure at V1, the pilot decided to abort, for example. And the solution, the pilot decided to abort and we're vacating via Alpha Niner, for example, right? So remember, please first focus on context, then the details, then the problem, then the details, and then the solution, and then its details. Let's continue. Anticipate and adapt. So as soon as we have the information of the context, we should project the information, right? So if I know they're flying at flight level 380, I should be thinking as the pilot of that plane, right? I should be projecting what possibilities there are of a possible problem, of a possible obstacle, turbulence, depressurization, maybe a passenger, etc. Number two, adaptation. This is super important. It is necessary that you accept lack of understanding. Something that happens a lot is the fact that we're listening to an audio, suddenly our understanding falls, and At that point, the brain starts thinking about, okay, what did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? Was it this? Was it that? No. In a very resilient manner, you have to accept the fact that you didn't understand, and you should continue taking notes of the rest of the phrase. Eventually, we can use one of the other tools that we'll talk in a minute to fill in the blanks. And finally, this is very important though, you could ask for clarification, but not all of the exams are going to give you this tool, and some exams will punish the fact that you ask for repetition. Now, approximations. So if we have good notes in shorthand and we can then replay using the shorthand mentally, we can figure out specific details by just guesstimating, making an educated guess. Okay, so if I am reading and I see shorthand, I think there's a hole. I remember that I heard something here, then maybe you can fill in the blank, right? It is very important that we understand, though, that guesstimation is only valid for exam taking. Do not use it during day-to-day operations. If you have a doubt, if you know you didn't understand, please ask again. Ask to say again. So let's review before listening to the example. We have 4 elements of the audio. We have the context, we have the problem, we have the solution, and we will have details about the 3. We have the tools of anticipation and adaptation, meaning that we should project the information using our experience and knowledge, and we should adapt by accepting that I didn't understand and just continuing. Remember that sometimes we have the tool of clarification or saying again. And finally, we have guesstimations. With great notes, maybe we can make an educated guess. So let's listen to the example.
Expert 22 Golf, control.
Pass your message, 22 Golf.
Expert 22 Golf, we have reports of a heavy squall line right before the FIR boundary.
Yes, we see it on the radar. We are analyzing and deciding as we speak. For the moment being, we request to continue until the FIR boundary. We'll call back.
Expert 22 Golf, the preceding traffic rerouted towards the north. The last one deviated 150 nautical miles off route.
Roger. We were thinking about that. We are checking fuel requirements for such a reroute. Give us 5 minutes. Control, Expert 22 Golf, request.
Expert 22 Golf, go.
We are looking for the following reroute. Present position to Foxtrot Romeo Echo Echo Zulu, then Tango Romeo India, VOR, upper 105, Foxtrot Hotel Delta VOR, then Delta Echo Tango Echo Romeo to resume the plan.
Stand by. Let me check with the next sector. Expert 22 Golf, you can proceed as requested if you can accept a higher level and a lower speed.
We are able to accept 380 and Mach decimal 76.
For this audio example, the context was cruise, and the details that it was below 380, and they were approaching an FIR change. The problem was that there was a squall line blocking the path, and the solution was that the pilot requested a reroute around the squall line. What are the details of the audio? The pilots needed to check fuel requirements for 150 nautical mile deviation towards the north of the route following the preceding traffic. And the reroute was conditioning to a higher level and a lower speed. So the crew accepted flight level 380 and Mach decimal 76. So that was it for today. Thank you for watching. Please leave your comment and questions, subscribe for more content, and share with a colleague. I'll see you guys next time.